of Darts Live League resumes, and we kick off with the impressive Paul Nicholson from yesterday. He won 4 out of 4, capping off a fine performance yesterday with 101 average. But he takes on the Brazilian Diogo Portela. It was his debut yesterday. He won 2 from 4, but he's up against it today. Paul Nicholson in great form, and we're going to get this matchup underway in just a minute.
Outside.
Bullseye.
And it's Diogo Portela kicking us off on day 2 of the Icon Live League of Darts. He won 2 from his 4 matches yesterday, but he looked on his social media. He wasn't happy with some of the performances. He said that was part of the problem there. Too many 60s, 58s, 59s, 57s, and he just needs to add the odd treble here and there. But this gentleman, on the other hand, was very impressive yesterday. He ended the campaign with a victory over James Hubbard with 100-plus average. His day average for the day was 94 and a bit, and he hit 9 180s. He was in scintillating form yesterday, Paul. He tops the league phase overall, and he has topped the daily league phase on both weeks of the Live League of Darts, but never really at the beginning of the week where he's got something to build on. This time he has. He's out in front. Another impressive performance today takes him into his day off tomorrow. And that's when we welcome back Adam Huckvale, who's off today after he made his debut yesterday. But Diogo, like we said, he got 2 from 4 yesterday. You'd argue that's satisfactory on your debut.
93.
He defeated James Hubbard 5-4. He defeated Adam Huckvale 5-4, but he did survive 9 match darts in that game. So he's back today, but it is a different format. We saw it with Jared Cole last week. He took a few days to get to grips with it, but when he did, he was in great form. He won a league phase at the back end of the week, and Diogo, we're hoping to do something similar.
100.
Portela, who has won a challenge tour in 2018. Competed in the World Cup on a few occasions. Last 16, the best he's done there. That was in 2017 and 2018.
60.
And he's qualified for the World Championship on the last 3 occasions, but never winning his first matchup. He did run into Peter Wright in his debut year in the opening round.
26.
Portela leaves a 2-darter, a bit wayward on that treble 13 attempt. Down to 65.
83.
Obviously, we've already mentioned Paul won 4 out of 4. He ran out of 5-2 victor against Portela yesterday. He's going treble 11 for double 16. And he's got the last start double 16 here for the opening leg.
Yeah, he shot 3 darts.
And Portela finds the opening leg with a 65 finish. Steady start. I always say it's vital. If you win the throw, you do not want to drop your throw in that opening leg, and he's held on to it.
140.
We witnessed some fantastic action last night at a night of the darts. Boris Koltsov running out top of the league with 3 wins from 4. He played at some pace last night. He was that quick, I forgot about one of his legs. Apologies, Boris. But a satisfactory night. Victories over Wessel Neiman,
93.
David Evans, and Jason Askew. His only blemish on his record was against Martin Adams. But he's back tonight.
100.
Chris Mason will be calling you through all the action on dartshop.tv. Reminder of the other 3 players playing in this group today. We've got James Hubbard and Aaron Monk up next in the Battle of the World Youth Champions. And then we see Andy Jenkins in the 3rd match of the day. He plays Paul Nicholson.
$60.
Andy Jenkins has played some good stuff over the last couple of weeks. His finishing stats are the best in the icon of Darts Live League. 41% last week, 40% the week before. He's a tough man to beat in this format, Andy Jenkins, and he'll be looking to win this league phase this week. So many challenges. But Paul Nicholson, looks like we're going to see a level game here. He will return for 42.
83.
Diogo leaves himself a finish, but expect Paul, a single 10 and double 16, to try and close out this second leg. There it is, the big 10.
Give me 2.
And there it is, the double 16. Impressive holder throw from the asset. And we are level.
$100.
Paul Nicholson, ever present in the Icon of Darts Live League. He finished 4th in the first week, did win a league phase. He finished 3rd last week. He won 2 league phases. He's top at the minute, and he's won 4 from 4. He's looking for his 5th win on the spin.
$140.
$60.
So Paul with a 60 there. Paul Taylor has a lead of 40. Plus these.
100.
Paul Taylor located himself in London to commit to the dart circuit. He now lives up north near Wigan, basing himself up there because the tournament's in Wigan and Barnsley, and because of the position of Diogo, he's generally a reserve player for the Pro Tour. But if there are some last calls, he's always there or thereabouts to take up the spot. He's making progress. It's slow progress, but Diogo Taylor is making progress. But I feel he does need to secure that tour card next year. Get himself 2 years on the tour.
91.
A nice moment a few years ago when Diogo qualified for his first European tour.
Check. 3 darts.
As we see Paul Taylor there with a 117 checkout. Take leg 3. Yeah, mentioning that moment, Paul Taylor qualified for his first European tour. He's waiting in the airport, ready to board his flight to Germany. And his dad surprised him, turning up at the airport on a nice occasion. But Taylor went on to reach the last 32 in that Euro Tour. His best run on a Pro Tour is the last 16. But in fairness, he's never consistently in the Pro Tours. He hasn't managed to secure a tour card, so he's a bit in and out. It has to be the next step for him. Well, this man, on the other hand, has got bags of experience. 4 Pro Tour wins. A major winner in Purfleet in 2010 in the Players' Championship.
$137.
Good game, this. Both players above the 90 average. Paul 94, Diogo 92. Marked improvement for Taylor from yesterday. His average yesterday for the whole day was 82.45.
$133.
He's trying to make his move here on the Paul Nicholson throw. Can't quite leave a finish there. His intended target with his last dart was a 25 on the ball. How did he hit the 25? He left 167. Paul Nicholson, bounds with 2 darter. And we'll get a go. But there's a chance for Diogo to put some pressure on. He's not putting a great deal on at the minute.
59.
No, and he hasn't. So Paul for the 4th consecutive holder throw in this match. Looking at the treble 13, gets the treble 13.
39.
Doesn't find the double 16. So Diogo Portela, we've already seen him chip out 117. Treble 18 now for tops. He's drifted into the treble 4, so opportunity gone.
57. 57.
Paul returns. You expect him to close this out and level us up yet again. Up for double 8. No, not happy with that die. Needs this, Paul Nicholson.
Give him 3.
He finds it with his third dart. Adjusted well. And restores parity in this match with 2 legs apiece. 4 holds a throw. Who's going to blink first?
58.
$95.
This is where you'd expect Paul just to ramp the pressure up a bit on Diogo Portela.
100.
$140.
That gives him a chance to attack the Portela throw now. Little bit of a gap. And a visit without a treble here from Diogo.
40.
Well, it's not to be. That's a good response from the Brazilian. Paul switching, needs that treble 19.
Yes.
Can't find it, so Portela. A slender lead, but he's got the darts. And that's 2 in the treble 5. It's a good last dart. He needed that. 10 plus finish again. Expect him to be under a bit of pressure after this visit. Maybe not a great deal of pressure now. Paul just got to readjust here. Yeah, did the right thing coming down for the 19. Picks up the treble 19. Would have left 164 with a single. So good thinking from the asset. Will he get a go? He is going to get a go. So this is a chance now for Paul Nicholson
81.
to break the throw. 4 19s. We've just seen him hit a treble 19 on his last start of his previous visit. He's got one again. Another one for double 6 or the single for the bull. Bullseye for the breaker throw here for Paul. And he doesn't find it. Tell by his expression. It's a fair way away. But Taylor now to regain the lead, 32.
Checking 2 darts.
And he finds it with his second dart. So Portela leads again.
100.
Still yet to find our first maximum of the day.
$58.
Paul Nicholson was second in the 180 table last week, but a fair way behind Jason Askew. Jason Askew hit 62 180s in last week's Icon of Darts, and we've seen him last night. He had a steadier start. We've seen him defeat David Evans and Martin Adams, but 2 defeats against Wessel and Boris Koltsov. But in Jason's defence, they were against some superb averages from the Dutchman and the Russian. We'll see him back tonight in the Night of Darts. We also welcome Scott Mitchell back. He kicks off the evening's proceedings at 6 p.m. against David Evans.
100.
Nicholson looking to level up again, but he's going to have to make his move on the Portela throw soon.
52.
He was waiting in the previous leg. He did have a dart at the bullseye. He was waiting on 33, but Taylor chipped for 32. That's as close as he's got.
97.
You can see in the
97.
averages. Looks like we're going to level up at 3-all, but Paul is a lot more comfortable on his darts than Diogo is on his. Paul's leaving the Brazilian high and dry in a few of the legs. Paul's been closing in. Will he get his chance in the next leg? Not going to get a shot here. 22 scored, 86 remaining. Look at treble 18.
40.
Oh, ideal. So a 10-40 here for Taylor. Gives him an outside chance. You feel it needs to be a 10-40. Take a turn now.
60.
So Paul, under no pressure on this 68, and it looking all the more likely we're leveling up again. 6 legs played, looking 6 legs hold a throw. It's a good mark of a Paul, but under no pressure.
60.
He'll be overly satisfied with the back end of this leg, Paul, but it's looking like he's going to get the job done.
58.
And again, a treble is visit for Taylor. Only one treble in this leg. Not really tested Paul Nicholson's darts, but
Came in 2.
and Paul gets there in the end. Not pretty, that leg, but a comfortable holder throw in the end. Has to make his move against the darts, though, Paul.
$93.
60.
58.
It's getting a bit cagey now. They know we're getting to the business end of the match. Taylor knows he's 2 holes to throw away. Paul knows he needs to make his move on a Taylor throw. 2 treble visit here.
100.
Another one there, but both players were averaging above 90 a couple of legs ago. We now see Paul at 87, Diogo at 84.
60.
And Diogo has hit 1 treble in the last leg, 2 trebles in the last leg and a half.
$81.
Paul picks off another one. Just to give him a slender lead. But Taylor needs to start finding that red bit again.
60.
And again, a treble is visit. Frustration will start to creep in now. And Paul Nicholson will sense the opportunities here. But he's not really jumping over the Taylor throw at the minute. And again, treble is visit. This is going to be a big leg. It's going to be a scrappy leg. But the biggest leg of the match you feel so far.
100.
But Taylor picks off a treble down to a finish. Not one of the worst finishes, 130. You only need 1 treble to get that minimum shot of the bullseye, providing you stay straight in the 20 segment.
100.
Paul follows suit. Paul leaves a 2 darter. Taylor needs a treble. Not gonna go.
94.
But does leave it handy. Nicholson's had a dart of bull to break in this match. He'll hope to have a dart at tops or 2 at tops. And he's going to get 2 at tops for the first break of the match. Last dart at the top.
80.
And he can't quite find it. And again, Paul Nicholson misses chances. He's running out of time to break the Diogo Taylor throw. And he's drifted into a 4, double 16. He missed by a mile there, Dio's just got to refocus.
4.
He misses. He was wayward on both them attempts there and gifts Paul Nicholson the chance. Can the asset capitalise?
22.
He does. I said that leg was going to be scrappy, but it could prove important. It's back-to-back 20 dart legs of Paul Nicholson, but it gives him the lead and gives him the chance to throw for the match. And you see nerves creep in for Taylor then. He was really wayward at the double 18 and the double 16. But he can take encouragement that Paul Nicholson is playing far from his best. He hasn't picked up the form from yesterday.
58.
So Taylor, with a steady leg here, will get a chance. But just can't find trebles at the minute. And Nicholson's finding plenty of trebles now. And what a time for your first 180 of the match. It's in Paul Nicholson's hands well and truly now.
$137.
Better from Taylor. But you feel he might have left it too late. And those missed darts in the last leg, looking like they're going to cost the Brazilian. Paul Nicholson making hay here. 9 darts rolled, he's down to 104. Best leg of the match was 14 darts. He could go out in 12 darts here, which would seal a hard-earned victory for the asset. He's going to get a match dart. And he goes just inside the double 16, but he'll be back. But Taylor being left well back here.
96.
Does leave a finish, but it's Paul's to lose now. 3 more match starting coming. He's had one already. And he only needs one more. Paul Nicholson closes out a hard-fought victory. That takes him to 5 wins out of 5 overall in this week's Icon of Darts Live League. But Taylor costly missed doubles in the 7th leg and Paul Nicholson jumped all over it. So well-earned victory for the asset. Coming up next, we've got a battle of 2 former world youth champions as we see James Hubbard battle Aaron Monk. to build to Aaron, I can do look count players. Let me just see up their warm up. Players have been World Youth 4, beating our current number 1 in the final. In the first ever 11. The following year, James Hubbard took his crown.
I think you're okay.
In the 02. Yeah, as I was saying, James Hubbard won his final in the O2 Arena against Michael Van Gerwen. He had a great debut here in the PDC. We've seen him qualify for the World Match Play, the Grand Slam of Darts, the World Championship, but couldn't recapture the form of that previous year. And it's been a struggle for James Hubbard since. He said he fell out of love with the game, but he's back. He's back. He played in the Challenge Tour this year, and he's got himself in the top 10 of the overall order of merit. He has been back on the Pro Tour. He was disappointed how it went, but it was good to be involved. He suffered 2 first-round defeats. Aaron Monk, who failed at Q School, didn't enter the first Challenge Tour, but he's looking to fall back in love with the game. He had a disappointing World Championships yet again. We're now going to see James Hubbard get things underway with his dart at the bullseye. James misses the 25 and bull segment, so Aaron Monk it is who will have the darts here. As I said, both these players featured heavily on the development tour in its opening couple of years. Aaron had 6 wins on the development tour. James Hubbard had 3. And they clashed 8 times during that time. Aaron leads the head-to-heads by 5-3. But it's their first clash in the Icon of Darts Live League. Aaron Monk had a day off yesterday, and he started brightly here in leg 1. First maximum in leg 1. Our first maximum took to the last leg in our previous match. If you're just joining us, Paul Nicholson has recorded his 5th victory out of 5 to back up yesterday's 4 wins in a scrappy display against Diego Portela. Monkey impressive last week, finished 2nd overall. His tournament average was 92.38. And looking good here for a 1-leg lead. And he takes it out in 3 darts. A 12-dart holder throw. And Aaron Monk is off and running. His opening leg of this week's Live Darts. Live League of Darts.
100.
James Hubbard's only victory yesterday came against the man we're going to see next, Andy Jenkins. Jenks led that game by 4 legs to 1. Hubbard came back. He said he found it a bit tricky yesterday. Not sure
100.
Where to stand when it's not your throw. That's what I found difficult 2 weeks ago, and I think that is a hard adjustment to make for players coming in. Didn't bother Boris Koltsov too much last night. Aaron Monk started well here, as has James Hubbard.
83. $180.
Aaron hits his second maximum, 2 in 2 legs. Both these youngsters' fathers played many years ago. Colin Monk featured in a couple of Lakeside semi-finals.
128.
Aaron Monk really wayward on the double 8 there, but he'll fancy himself to come back. But it's an impressive start. As I said, Colin Monk played on the PDC and BDO circuits. Vic Hubbard, a former England international. He qualified for the World Championship in the late 80s. Aaron now looking to extend his lead.
Oh my God, no score.
4 darts missed at a double for a 2-leg lead. So James Hubbard now. This will settle him down.
Game in 1.
And he finds it with his first dart. Good leg from both players, but an important leg for James Hubbard. He holds through. How costly will those 4 missed darts be for the Mad Monk?
60.
And how this game can swing. Aaron has chances to go 2 legs to nil up, and he's in control.
140.
Starts the leg without a treble. Hubbard jumps in with a 140.
180.
Back comes Monk, his third 180 in 3 legs. Like I said, Aaron finished second last week behind
100.
Jason Askew. 8 points behind. And that was probably courtesy
59.
of not getting 1 win over Jason last week. Lost all 4 encounters.
$100.
And Hubbard first to a finish. Monk's in again.
145.
Yeah, switching to the ball to leave double 16, but
58.
and a trebleless visit from James. Aaron now. We had woes on the doubles in the previous leg. Tops.
Game in 2.
And no such woes in this leg. Aaron Monk's average there, 109. Short 110. He's missed 5 darts at a double. His scoring's been really impressive. At a 180 in every leg so far.
Time.
That's a good first start for James. Is this his first maximum?
108.
It is. So James Hubbard fires in, and that ensures we've seen a maximum in every leg so far.
45. Uh, 41.
And doesn't really back it up, but Aaron can't leave a finish off 3, 5, 6, even with a maximum.
43.
Back to back.
43, sorry.
2 poor back-to-back visits give James Hubbard some breathing space here. He relied on missed doubles to get his opening leg on the board. He shouldn't be relying on missed doubles here.
Time.
He's got time on the 58, but be eager to get rid of it. 18 for tops.
Game shot in 2.
And he does it in 2 darts. Good leg from James Hubbard. This is a good game. Aaron, who's used 26 darts to win his 2 legs. Hubbard has used 30 darts to win his 2 legs. We've had a 180 in every leg so far.
140. $95. $140.
Yeah, back-to-back turn 40s for James Hubbard. His average creeping higher in Aaron's now.
140.
Aaron down to 126. First little slip from James. He needs a treble to leave a finish.
44.
And that's not enough. Aaron Monk got time. He does still start at the bottom of the board.
58.
To leave a 2-darter. Hubbard's just got to apply some pressure and hope Monk makes a mess of the 68.
96.
He applies a little bit of pressure. He's on a 2-darter himself. This is the first sort of inroad
25 left.
Hubbard has made on the Monk.
43.
Yeah, and a wayward dart in the 20. So Hubbard should get a dart at the bull to break the Monk through. He's going to have to go, if that's a single 10. No, it's a treble 10. Tops now for James Hubbard.
45.
Just the wrong side. Had a chance. Are we staying on throw? 2 darts, double 8.
Jamie 2.
And we are staying on throw. Hold a throw for Aaron Monk. He leads 3-2. We saw this in our opening match of the afternoon. We had 6 holes to throw until we saw our first break, and that was because of a mistake. But Taylor just went a bit wayward on the doubles. And Paul Nicholson duly finished him.
45.
This is better. James Hubbard's average for the day yesterday was 83, just short of 84, 83.89.
80.
He's well above that here. His average up in the mid-90s.
139.
But his throw could be under a little bit of threat here.
Uh, 84.
And he's finding a treble, but not much else with it. Scores of 80 and 84.
Done.
And Monk has a little bit of breathing space. 60 points. So you kind of forcing Hubbard for the 2 treble visit here.
95.
It is a 2 treble visit, but one of them was a treble 5. Monk should be first to a finish.
139.
That's okay. He was looking at the treble 19 to leave tops, but Monk, who blew 4 darts at a double to break James Hubbard's throw in the second leg of the match,
60.
is going to get at least one more here. Or is he?
38.
No, he isn't. So James Hubbard now, can he steal this 6th leg? Treble 18 will be the first tag. He's got it. Another one of them for doubles. Oh no, he's just outside, is he?
54.
Yeah, the first out was just outside. That blocked the other 2, made it difficult to get in there. So Aaron now to open up some daylight for the first time in the match.
Game and 1.
He finds it, and there's the breaker throw. Aaron Monk now will throw for the match.
$94.
Is that the leg that's going to cost James Hubbard?
100. $180.
And Aaron Monk with his 4th, 180. We saw Paul Nicholson do it in the previous match. He was throwing for the match, and he hit a 180 to give himself some breathing space. Monk's done the same. But what Taylor couldn't do is respond with a maximum, and neither could James. But Taylor responded with a 140, as has Hubbard.
57. Come on.
Aaron not managing to back that up. So a ton 40 here for James.
140.
Must. He finds a ton 40. Only one treble needed. Big treble needed in the 1-2-1 if he gets to go, and he is.
105.
So Hubbard now will look at treble 20. It's going to be treble 17 for the bull to keep himself alive in this match.
97.
He leaves it handy. If Monk misses the 65, he's going to get 2 match darts. He's going to need 2 match darts.
Useless.
And he can't find
55.
the winning double. So James Hubbard now to send us to an 8th leg. Across to double 6. Last start to keep himself in it.
Game 3.
And he finds it with his last start. Good response from James Hubbard. The maximum in that leg from Aaron Monk wasn't enough. And the man from Norfolk stays alive in his opening match in the second day of the Icon of Darts Live League.
Oh, I should have liked that. 28.
Kind of undoes his hard work there, though, with the opening visit.
140.
Under pressure straight away again here, James Hubbard, courtesy of that opening score of 28. This is one of the most frustrating things as a dart player when you
140.
start a leg slow. He's correcting himself there, but if you don't make your opponent throw out a match,
60.
it's happened to me many a time, you just gift him a breaker throw to win the match instead of making him earn it. Hubbard needs this leg to
55.
send us to a decider.
$99.
Monk has missed 2 match darts.
$46.
And James Hubbard stuttering in this leg. In the previous leg, after four visits, Hubbard was on 24. He's well back on 232, and you feel it's got to be a 140 here. He's got to look at the bullseye now just to leave a finish. No, he stayed there, so Aaron Monk has time to close out this match.
62.
And just sets up. That's fine for Aaron Monk. He returns. All James Hubbard can do is try and apply a bit of pressure and hope Monk misses more match darts. Does apply a bit of pressure, but surely this time for Aaron Monk. And it's Aaron Monk who wins the Battle of the World Youth Champions. 4 maximums en route. And Aaron Monk is off and running here in week 2 of the Icon Live League of Darts against James Hubbard. Coming up next, we welcome back Paul Nicholson, who takes on Andy Jenkins. champion running just you've Jenkins that to the Paul Nicholson there. You just see warming up, just a slight technical issue here with Andy Jenkins' board. I'm sure we'll get that addressed in a few seconds. his campaign, his first match of the afternoon. Already seen Paul Nicholson close out a scrappy victory over Diego Portela. Portela played some good stuff in that game, just the scoring dried up at the back end of the game, but it was better from the Brazilians. Average won't have told him that, but
Outside.
just needs to tighten up. But Paul Nicholson, who ground out victory, showed that little bit of quality at the back end of the match. Just see both players missing the target, so we'll be back. This time Paul at the 25.
25.
Both players this time hitting the 25. After this game, we've got Diego Portela returning for his second match. He plays James Hubbard, a much improved James Hubbard, I might say. He played well. He'd be disappointed with that last leg. He broke to try and force Aaron to send Aaron to the side there, but he just couldn't find the scoring. But it was a much improved performance. Aaron Monk hitting 4 180s, but it's Andy Jenkins who gets us underway here.
180.
What a way to get us underway. Maximum start from the man from Caution.
$100.
A turn for Andy Jenkins. I said about Andy Jenkins, his finishing stats have been impressive. He had 40%. He had the best finishing stats in week 1 of the Icon of Darts Live League. He had the best last week with 41.67%. When he gets a chance, he generally takes it. And the players will be wary of this. If you can find his scoring, he's a tough man to beat. He recorded 100 average yesterday.
125.
But he lost out to Paul Nicholson and lost out to James Hubbard from 4-1 up. But this is an impressive start. Andy Jenks, who won on the Challenge Tour last year, had to say an emotional
56.
goodbye to his peak white van that served him so well for many years last year as well. But he started well here. Nicholson, who's looking for 6 wins on the spin. But he's a leg down here. Impressive from Rocky. 13 darts for a hold. Remember the 6th man in this group, Adam Huckvale.
Shit.
It's my throw.
Sorry, it's my fault.
That's right. No worries.
Sorry.
Bit of confusion there. Andy Jenkins thought it was his turn to throw first.
60.
Paul can't find a treble.
Sorry.
Plenty of respect between these two players. Just a bit of confusion there with Andy Jenks underway now.
30.
Can't capitalise on that opening visit from Paul of 60. So Nicholson, who couldn't really get his scoring game going in his opening match, it was
43.
grinded out victory. He saved his best leg for the final leg of the match when he fired in a maximum closed out victory. Followed it with a 1-3-4.
134.
But hasn't got anything going just yet here. It's Paul Nicholson, who leaves us tomorrow and is replaced by Adam Huckvale. He has his day off.
85.
Aaron Monk's already had his, so he plays to a finish. Back-to-back Tunzo from Paul. Turn 40 gives Andy a chance to break here, though. Turn 3-4, it's good switching.
98.
That last dart just in the treble 7. Andy Jenkins, though, did beat Paul 3 times out of 4 last week. But did lose yesterday.
58.
Looking good to break through here. Looking for a treble 20 to
134.
double 10. He finds it's a good dart from Andy Jenkins, forcing Paul Nicholson to take out the 140. He decided to use the treble 16. Obviously, he wasn't happy with the lie on the treble 20. That's his call. Andy Jenkins.
10.
He flips 3 darts. I was only bigging up his finishing stats just a minute ago. This is a scrappy leg. We saw a lot of these in Paul Nicholls' opening match against Diogo. Double 16 for a holder throw. Probably just moving slightly right on the hockey. And he finds it with his 3rd dart. Scrappy leg, but a winning leg for Paul Nicholls, and he won't care. And he levels up this match.
$79.
Andy Jenkins. Just 3 to win that leg. Paul Nicholson's taken encouragement from that last leg. It's always a bit of a nervy affair getting that first leg on the board, no matter how it comes, whether it comes in 12 or 21 darts as it did for Paul Nicholson. It's a winning leg.
$140.
As I said, coming up next, we've got
54.
James Hubbard and Diego Portela, then Aaron Monk and Andy Jenkins bring us into the halfway stage. That's followed by Paul against James Hubbard, Diego Portela, Aaron Monk, Andy Jenkins, James Hubbard, Paul Nicholson versus Aaron Monk, and then to finish off, the Brazilian Portela takes on Andy Jenkins. And that will complete proceedings here on day 2 in week 3 of the Icon of Darts Live League. Our 2 previous winners, Wessel Neiman,
54.
correction, David Evans and Jason Askew in the Icon of Darts Live League are both now in action tonight at a night of the dart. And reminder that gets underway from 6. Chris Mason calls all the action. Paul Nicholson sets up a potential 11 darter, but that's okay. Give himself breathing space. He'll return for tops.
100.
So Paul get the first break in this match. Tops for the 2-1 lead. Switch into 10s. Is he going to let Andy Jenkins off the hook like Andy did in the previous leg? He has. Andy's got to capitalise. 74. 20 for tops now. The 2-1 lead.
Claiming 3.
And he finds it and rolls reversed in this leg. It's Paul Nicholson this time to miss doubles. Andy Jenkins holds. Talked about the finishing stats of Andy. Really impressive.
$48.
78.
Andy Jenkins, who finished 3rd last week in Icons of Darts Live. He was level on points with Aaron Monk, but courtesy of an inferior leg
122.
difference, he finished 3rd. Andy's turn now to make his move on Paul's throw again. 14 points separate the players in the averages.
128.
Paul Nicholson played well yesterday, but what he has been good at over the last few weeks, when things aren't exactly going to plan, he can find a way to hang in there. He's doing it here.
140.
But his throw is going to be tested again. Feel a 140 minimum needed here. You'd probably argue that's not enough. Certainly not enough if Andy Jenkins hit this bullseye. It's just the wrong
136.
side. He has hit a 161 in the Icon of Darts Live League before. He almost had another one there. I remember it well because it was against myself in an opening leg.
$92.
Is this the break? Andy had a chance in leg 2. He's going to get chance in leg 4.
70.
And again, he misses chances. So Paul to pinch another leg. But in fairness, probably should have won the previous leg. He's gone for a 20. He's hit double top. That's okay. Double 6. As if he'd have gone out the board, he'd have been frustrated. He's just recomposed himself. He finds it. Not the way he intended, but Paul Nicholson levels up this game again. Andy Jenkins has had chances to break the Paul Nicholson throw on a couple of occasions. Just experienced a little technical issue here. Quick reminder, the scoreline here, 2 legs all. We've already seen Aaron Monk defeat James Hubbard. We've seen Paul Nicholson defeat Diego Portela. We see Portela back next against James Hubbard. And Aaron Monk brings us to the halfway stage. Yeah, Aaron Monk faces Andy Jenkins. But we're back up and running there. A little technical glitch. Andy Jenkins starts off leg 5. He's had a lot of chances to break through here. Is he going to regret those misses? Paul Nicholson now. Paul Nicholson starts the leg.
45. Just can't hear nothing.
So he forces the issue now. Paul Nicholson. Again, just experience a little technical problem. Quick reminder. Paul Nicholson has started the leg with a maximum. Andy Jenkins has scored a 30 and a 45. So and a night of darts will return tonight at 6 p.m. Scott Mitchell gets proceedings underway from 6 p.m. Scott Mitchell faces David Evans. But a quick reminder of what happened last night. Boris Koltsov won 3 of his 4 matches, but was really impressive on debut. His first match, he beat Jason Askew with 105 average. Wessel Neiman, last week's champion, he won 2 of his 4 games. And yeah, I think we've addressed the technical issue now, and we're going to get back underway in this match. Andy Jenkins back to the
80.
board. Score of 80. Paul Nicholson has a lead already, and he's only thrown 3 darts in this leg. We're still waiting our first breaker throw. Andy Jenkins had plenty of opportunities to break.
135.
Paul had 2 darts to break in leg 3. It's been a topsy-turvy game. Paul Nicholson with an 85. He's got a lead of 80.
100.
Is this the time for a first breaker throw?
$140.
Andy Jenkins has worked his way back into the leg well. After a bit of issues at the start, he's applied some pressure. But here comes another dart to break for Paul Nicholson. And he finds it, and we have a breaker throw. And that 180 at the beginning of the leg tells, and it's Paul Nicholson who hits the front. And I said this earlier, Paul Nicholson, when things aren't going well, he does have a knack of just working his way into a game. But Andy Jenkins fires back. He started the entire matchup with a 180. He picks up his second now. Turn for Paul. So Andy Jenkins has had chances on every single leg that Paul Nicholson throw first.
59.
He'll hope to have more here. Andy.
134.
Yeah, good thinking. He did switch the 18s, but he picked off the treble 18. And this is a good response from Andy, because you could tell there was a little bit of frustration creeping in that last leg. He threw a few wayward darts at the beginning of the leg. Had his throw broken after having so many chances to break Paul's throw.
58.
That was a tough pill to swallow in that last leg, but he's playing the better of the two players. His average up towards 97, and he's got time. As you can see, he hasn't started on the 18s.
48.
He rounds it off, but you know, that's a sloppy visit. 1040 from Paul here would apply massive pressure. Stay down there. And he rounds off to lead 90. It's Andy first. 20 for tops to level up the game again.
Time in 3.
And he does. Good leg from Andy Jenkins, especially after all the hard work of carving out opportunities to break Paul's throw. He had his throw broken, but he breaks straight back, and we're level again, 3 legs apiece.
123.
Andy's throwing at a good pace here. Paul Nicholson has a lot more methodical approach, just sets himself on the hockey.
140.
Still a good 9 points in the averages.
60.
The important thing is the scoreline of 3-all. Advantage Andy Jenkins, courtesy of winning the ball. We've seen both our first two games result in 5-3 outcomes. If one of these players can reel off two legs here, we'll see a third 5-3 scoreline of the day.
$85.
Paul Nicholson has wrestled the darts away again from Andy Jenkins, but this visit's important. A lead of 12. He may switch to treble 17, surely he has to. There's no way of getting through there. He does and can't find the treble 17, so it leaves a finish, but it's a biggie. Andy's still well in this leg. Even more so now, he's down to a 2-darter. Paul Nicholson now looking, he'll look at 2 treble 90s, I'm sure. Just trying to round off his score. Yeah, and only 40 scored. So after 2 opening visits of 140, Paul Nicholson has missed a chance here to restore his lead. Andy Jenkins on 93.
77.
And misses a chance. That's disappointment again for Paul. You only need 1 treble in the combination, but he hasn't stayed straight, and that was a poor dart into the lower segment of the 1. Andy Jenkins to go within 1.
Game in 2.
Yeah, he finds it with his second dart. You sense both players aren't overly satisfied with how they're playing, but Andy Jenkins is doing enough. 7 points higher in the averages and a leg away from victory here. And inflicting Paul Nicholson's first defeat in this week's Icon of Darts.
100.
$59.
Paul Nicholson will be hoping to send this to his last leg decider, which was the case yesterday, and Paul came out on top. He'll be hoping for a repeat.
134.
He's well on his way to sending us to that last leg shootout.
100.
Said Paul Nicholson impressive yesterday. His average throughout the day 94 and a bit, 9 180s. Capped off the day brilliantly with 101 average and defeating James Hubbard. But was involved in a scrappy performance against Diogo Patela earlier on. He's 167 points away from sending us to a 9th and final leg. And he stays in touch. Paul has 6 darts. Needs a treble. He opens the door for Andy. Yeah, picks a treble off. Good last start from the asset.
$54.
And breathing space now for Paul Nicholson, and surely we are heading into a deciding leg.
Game in 2.
And we are in a deciding leg. Brilliant leg from Paul Nicholson under the circumstances. Had to win to stay alive. 14 darts to send us to a 9th leg.
140.
Can Paul Nicholson repeat his heroics of yesterday when he closed out a last leg victory against Andy Jenkins? Gonna have to break to do it today.
$100.
That treble was important. Andy has the lead. He started off with a 1040. He backs it up with a ton. 140 separates the players in this deciding leg.
1.
That's a loose last start from Paul. Could be the difference in this leg.
80.
Andy Jenkins rescues that good treble 19. Paul may switch now because that's low in the 20 and awkward. He stayed up there.
57.
And a visit without a treble will be music to the ears of Andy Jenkins. Looking to set up.
140.
And does set up. Andy Jenkins is 41 points away from gaining revenge on Paul Nicholson from yesterday and inflicting his first defeat of this week's Icons of Darts Live League.
99.
So match darts incoming for the man from Cosham.
Came in 2.
He only needs one match start, and Andy Jenkins inflicts Paul Nicholson's first defeat in this week's Icons of Darts Live League. He gains revenge for the 5-4 defeat yesterday with a 5-4 win of his own, and Andy Jenkins is off and running. We'll see him in Game 5 this afternoon where he plays Aaron Monk. But coming up next, we've got the World Youth Champion of 2012, James Hubbard, takes on the Brazilian Diogo Portela. game. Feet. Five against